I'm going to guess that this is going to be one of your biggest sellers. And I think that the 2040s non-traditional size, something that's a little bit more panoramic, people aren't used to seeing them, is going to be a big hit. Hey everyone, and welcome inside Mueller Photography in La Crosse, Wisconsin. I'm here with Adam, and we're in your beautiful redesigned space. So tell us again, how big is the space overall, just so we get a general idea?
Whole studio is 5,000 square feet on 2 floors, but the main space is about 3,000 square feet.
Okay, awesome. And just keep in mind too, if you're not fortunate to have a big, commercial space like this, it doesn't mean that you can't apply these things to your own space. We're gonna go into different rooms today, and even if you have a more condensed home studio or a smaller commercial space, you can still take these ideas and apply them to what you're doing. So let's start in this general area here and not talk about anything specifically to begin with. So you made a bunch of changes in here. So tell us about this amazing wall behind us, because the last time I was here, it didn't look like this.
Yep. Well, this was all drywall, floor to ceiling, and we exposed the brick and wanted just kind of that natural brick feeling for downtown. Just feels very historic. And so when we originally came into this building 8 years ago, there was brick behind the drywall, and we knew eventually we wanted to expose it. So we did that and put up some beautiful wall portraits, and it really matches nicely with our ceiling and everything else, the wood floors, so yeah, definitely warms up the whole space.
Absolutely, it adds a really cool texture. So before we started putting everything up today, which you did a wonderful job drilling into the brick, what did you have on display up here, just so people understand like what we really changed here?
Yeah, so on this wall and the wall in our window display, there was one 40 by 60 in each space. And as you'll see now, there's 3 40 by 60s on this wall and a couple more on the other. So we just really had one signature piece in the largest size we could do, but we now, as you can see, have done groupings in both.
Yeah, absolutely. And I like how you've hit different genres and the different things that you photograph, or the different ways that you photographed here. Yeah. So you have weddings, you have seniors, and you have families represented in the space. So let's talk about this, because I know that you're a big fan of acrylics. You've been talking about acrylics for a long time. So in this space we have 6 large prints, 2 40/60s, and then what, a couple 20 by 30s and a couple 16/20s? Is that what we have over there, 20 by 24s?
24 by 36s up on the outsides, and then 20 by 24s going up.
Awesome.
So, I love acrylics, and for a person who maybe just looks online at metals and acrylics, it's hard to know the difference or see the difference. And we love metals, and we have them right behind me too, but acrylic, there's just that difference that clients are gonna appreciate and love. So we love them. We really wanted to showcase them in the window display. We wanted as much natural light on those as possible, even in the evening hours, as we have a few lights on in here and people walking by. But I think acrylic was definitely the right choice to have in a space like that.
Yeah, absolutely. And to think about, 1 40 by 60 in that space, and now you've got literally over 10 feet.
Yeah.
And it's amazing how much that large wall has really almost, swallowed up massive prints. And I can't imagine how cool that's going to look at night when you're looking in, when it's dark outside with the lights on, the brick wall with the acrylics. That's a really outstanding piece.
Yeah, we're excited. I mean, we've even just walked up and down the street today as we've gotten it up, and it just looks so different and breathtaking as people walk by. I think we're going to get a lot of people as they walk by just want to stop and pause and take a peek.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's the goal.
Yeah.
So let's move down the wall here a little bit to our 40/60 metal pieces. So these are all going to be white base, high gloss, metal prints. So again, in your weddings, families, and seniors. Yep. So as you were choosing the images to go here, were these just some of your favorites? What are you specifically showcasing with these 3?
Well, one, obviously, like you said, we want to showcase our wedding business, senior business, and our family portrait business. With our families, we really want to showcase kids and personalities and just the expressions and just the energy that we get out of sessions. I'm really involved when we create portraits with families, with getting kids to laugh and have fun and play and do things, and we wanted to showcase that. So I think this image is a really good showcase for people with how we create those dynamic family portraits. Yeah. With our weddings, we do everything, and we obviously, the moments throughout the day, we try to create really dynamic portraits where Couples are like, that could be in a magazine. And so we wanted to showcase an image like that. And the same thing with seniors. We want them to feel just pretty on their day, getting their senior portraits taken. So it was a lot of, like I told you, we worked through a lot of images over the past year.
Thousands.
Yep. It was well over 10,000 images trying to go through to figure out which were the right ones to put up on our wall display. Now that when we did this project, we really left virtually nothing left on the wall that was here before. And so as we go through the studio, you'll see over 50 new wall portraits that we put up all at once, all from in one day, 24 hours unboxing to putting up. So
yeah, absolutely. And just to clarify too, and we'll start talking about wall groupings, but as you're looking at all of these, it's from multiple sessions. So, you've got a 40-60 wedding, you have a 40-60 family, senior, family, wedding. So if we shift one more, you also did something cool, which I want to take note of. You float frame the center print, and you didn't float frame the outside print.
It's still a canvas float frame, so I know we offer different finishes with our float frames, but this is a canvas float frame. And then we just wanted to showcase how you can put a premium canvas wrap on each side, but it doesn't always have to be float frames for each piece. And granted, there's other designs that you'll see through here where they are more cohesive, all the same finish, but I think the design kind of speaks for itself. We really wanted to showcase the centerpiece image and then bonus in the premium canvas wraps on the side.
Absolutely. And it's positioned above a couch, so it gives you an idea of how things fit above a large piece of furniture.
And we wanted to design it edge to edge from the couch, leave a little space on the sides. This is what most people would have if they had a couch in their home against the wall. So.
Absolutely. And if a client wanted to, even if they don't do all three pieces, it encourages them to think in that method. And, maybe they couldn't do it all at one time, but I want to start with the center image, then I'm going to add on the two of the kids later. You can always split things up. It's just a great way to showcase, to give people the idea that you want to purchase in multiples.
Yeah, and the great thing too is people who are getting a cluster like this, when they get it home, if they end up liking it better with just the centerpiece there, they just take their two side prints and they put them together on another wall. And so it's very flexible once they get it home.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is what I would consider a much more traditional grouping. So let's slide around the corner and take a peek at a corner grouping.
That'd be great.
Yeah, awesome. All right, let's sneak over here. All right, so now we are standing in front of probably your most non-traditional grouping that we put up in the studio. And I can remember when we came down here and we were talking about the different spaces, I'm like, this would be a really fun corner to decorate because I know that you've probably heard it, I've heard it, everybody else listening has heard it. I don't have wall space, I don't have a place to put portraits, I don't have the space for that. Okay, well, who doesn't have a corner in their home? I mean, nobody. So as you were designing this and working through this, I know that there was a method and a thought process. Can you go into that a little bit more for us, Adam?
Yeah, as we talked, we decided, everybody has a corner in their home, but for one family, how do they feature family portraits that wrap around the corner? And so it was a really nice way to do this because normally we would just design a wall, we'd put some here and a different family over here. So what we really wanted to do with this design is we wanted to feature, for most of the time with all of our families, we created some great family portraits, but also the kids together and then the kids individually, sometimes the parents together. But we wanted to showcase one great family portrait as a really nice vertical image and then a horizontal of the kids together. And we could flip-flop it, it just depends, they're the same size prints. But regardless, in a session, we always have a great horizontal family and then a vertical of the kids together. So we want to showcase those two centerpieces, and we did those as float frames as well. But since we already have float frames with canvas out in our main area, we wanted to show what it looks like on metal in this area. And then we bonused in these square canvas prints of each of the kids individually and did it in some design that anybody with 2 kids or 4 kids could easily wrap their heads around with how this design could be in their home.
Absolutely. And if you wanted to, or if somebody said, I don't have the need for that, or if I don't have 4 children, it'd be very easy to take this wall and make it a set of 3, or this wall and make it a set of 3, or the gallery wraps and do a set of 4.
Or we can downsize or upsize, and we can, like you said, if they have 2 kids, we can alternate and have one of the kids there, and then we can put another one of the kids together and another one of the parents together. So there's always ways to work with this design with a family.
Absolutely. So the moral of the story is don't forget your corners.
Yeah, and I think as every family thinks about, well, I don't have a spot above the couch, or I don't have this or that, you're going to see other spaces as we move into the presentation room soon too. If you just have a vertical wall that's not very wide at all, how could I still feature multiple portraits in the wall? So we're really trying to showcase every wall type that a family could have.
Yeah, absolutely. This is one of my favorites. I think this is very, very efficient use of the space, and I'm anxious to see how your clients receive the proposition or the idea of decorating corners. So it'll be fun to hear how that goes for you. So let's move over to one of my favorite groupings that we installed here today. It might be my favorite. Let's
mainly you were the first one to install this morning, so.
So it gets to be my favorite. I'm going to guess that this is going to be one of your biggest sellers. And I think that the 2040s non-traditional size, something that's a little bit more panoramic, people aren't used to seeing them, is going to be a big hit. I mean, I love how when you take the sides off, it gets so focused, especially on this one. You know, the little girl just enjoying her dad so much. I think this is going to be a huge seller for you.
Yeah, and I think so too. I think people haven't seen a 20 by 40 vertical print and how that could work with their images. And so I really love how it turned out. And you can see just this family, they have one child, but how can you do 4 different wall portraits when a family only has one child? And at the most people think of, well, it's just going to be that one main family portrait. But how do you incorporate our daughter as like another portrait that's of equal size? And I think this is a way people can start to see those layouts. Absolutely. And the other thing we like, and we've talked about this too, these 20 by 40s will work with most portraits, but if a family struggles with, you know, maybe cropping out a little bit too much of an image, we can just widen out these 20 by 40s, still keep the 40-inch height, but we'll just widen out a little bit from the 20 to maybe a 30 by 40. Yep. So this concept will still work no matter how wide we end up designing it.
Right. And again, you know, if you wanted to separate out, you know, the 20 by 40 and then the 2 centers, or if you want to do 3 20 by 40s, or you want to do 2 20 by 40s with a 30 40 in the middle of it, there's endless possibilities. I love the simple woodland frame on here. It's very symmetrical. I think that this is going to be a huge seller for you.
And like we've talked about other finishes, we want to showcase yet another finish, all within short walking distance of the other ones. We've already covered acrylic, metal portraits, canvas float frames, metal float frames, premium canvas wraps, and now here we have framed portraits. So we want to showcase all of these different finishes with an easy walking distance in our studio.
Absolutely. And speaking of that, let's bounce back up front. Okay, everybody, so Adam and I are back up front in his studio, and just to give you a point of reference, the brick wall that we referenced before is to my right. So we're going to talk about this display that's over my shoulder here. Now, the reason that this ended up to be kind of a strange little space in here and very narrow is because there was a stairway added, correct?
Yeah, we added a stairway to go upstairs, and so the window display used to be as large as the one with the brick wall. So it trimmed it down a little. It's just narrow space getting in, but we still have the same kind of wall space there to be able to showcase portraits.
Absolutely. And for people walking by, it's going to be very important for them to see the grouping that's up there. Now, I love this type of grouping. It's taking a family session and then breaking it out into 7 different pieces. So this one in particular has 5 1624s and 2 1616s in it, making up a beautiful group of 7. So for this particular family, which I know is on your website as well for giving you a wonderful referral, how did you choose this family and what was your thought process? Because I know there was a lot that went into designing this particular wall grouping.
Yeah, well, we loved working with the family and obviously loved their portraits, and we wanted to showcase a design where you put a great family portrait in the middle, but surrounded by individuals of the kids and the husband and wife up top. But we wanted to make sure that we've got the spouses together, the kids together, and then 4 individuals of the kids and the family. So symmetrically, it works really well. Mm-hmm. So we just wanted to find a simple family, 2 kids, and just do a design like this to show how you can piece that together in a design that no one else would just think of when they're sitting here looking at their portraits. We want to show them something just totally different than any of our other clusters.
Right. And I like how you said simple, because that's what I was kind of trying to draw out of you, because I think sometimes somebody would take a group of 7 and say, oh, well, I'm going to need to have a family that has 4 children or 5 children or multiple different areas that were photographed, and that could potentially actually be harmful to a grouping like that.
Yeah, and we wanted to break it up. So you'll see that we have in that grouping individuals of the kids, but we put 2 of each of them. but we then altered the size. So it's a 16 by 24 followed up by a 16 by 16. And the thought, again, we're just breaking up the different sizes. Even though it's very 16 by 24 heavy, we just incorporated those extra bonus pieces to complete the design. So
yeah, and it looks fantastic. So as people are walking into your studio now, on their left side, they're seeing an awesome group of 7 from a family portrait session, which is perfectly in your wheelhouse for what you're doing. On the other side, they have a whole acrylic grouping followed by the 3 40 by 60 metals. So I'm thrilled for how this all turned out for you, and we're excited to hear how the public reacts to the space. So now that we've taken the tour of kind of more of the more common areas of the studio, let's go into the sales room and let's kind of get in the weeds there and talk about the theory and the thought process behind that space.
that sounds great.
All right, I'll follow you.
For seniors, often families just gravitate towards, we just wanted to put that one favorite portrait up and they do a smaller size. And we wanted to show how you can use a small wall, but showcase 3 incredible larger portraits, but in a square size just for something different.
Hey everyone, thanks for checking out episode number 3 of Mueller Photography's Studio Makeover. We hope these sessions inspire you to elevate your game. So if you're interested in more information or your own studio makeover, let us know. We'll set up a one-on-one consultation for you. In the meantime, you know the deal. Information below. Don't forget to smash that subscribe button. We'll see you next time.